Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Matt Cooper, and today we're joined by two Talking Wolves regulars. We'll start with the main man first. Finn, how you doing?
Hey!
I know you moaned on the last one that you didn't get teed up, so
We'll see later on the quiz, but that can be the main man title officially. But I'd say I'd love to be here, but bit of a depressing subject on this one, but I'm sure we can have a good old therapy session. But yeah, I'm all right.
I've just picked you up as a main man. You've got to be a bit more like take it in your stride.
It's a shame it's on such a depressing podcast, but yeah, I mean, beggars can't be choosers, can they?
And of course, we're joined by Dave as a party. Dave, how you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you. Obviously, like Finn said, it's going to be a bit of a therapy, but yeah, good nonetheless. It's been an all right week, thankfully. So
bloody hell, lads! I feel like someone's passed away.
I know.
How are you, man?
We lost the game. I know it feels like that, but it's it has been a strange one. Of course, we'll be talking about the defeat at home to Leeds. We'll be looking ahead to the next game, which will be the Villa game, at the start of April. Taking your questions, talking about loan players in specific, Ryan Giles, Morgan Gibbs-White, and there'll also be a little quiz. But before we kick off, I just want to like to say a huge thank you to our partners, BetMate, who have been supporting the podcast and the previews, and just our overall channel sponsor, really. Been doing bits together, to be fair, apart from me and Dave, who can't seem to get any points on the board whatsoever, which we'll come on to. But yeah, big thanks to BetMate. Dave, Leeds, last Friday. I was too pissed to remember it in Budapest, thankfully. What happened?
Well, where do we start? Do it in chronological order? Do it key moments or
just what happened? I'll tell you what. Let's start with the lineup. Jose Sarr in goal. Willy Bolly coming back in for Kilman. Cody Sace, Johnny, Ruben Neves, João Moutinho, Ryan Aït-Nouri, Leander Dendoncker, Daniel Pedence, and Raul Jimenez. So opted for that almost 3-5-2 out of possession, 3-4-3 in transition. I suppose the only real shock there was Willy Bolly coming in for Kilburn. Well, not a shock, but the one you probably wouldn't think happened after the Everton game.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I think Bruno is obviously trying to somehow bed him back in. I think there was a lot of people that probably thought Say should have been the one that dropped out. But it was Kilman. I thought Kilman improved a lot during that Everton game. So I'm surprised at that. And I don't know. I thought Bolly had one or two shaky moments. I think in the first half he got a booking for just completely going through one of the Leeds players. But that was, for me, that booking there was probably the start of Kevin Friend's ridiculous, refereeing, to be honest. Talking about the game in general, first half we had full control, didn't we? We looked good. Got that early goal, or fairly early goal, and through Johnny. But it was, mainly the Trincao show, to be fair, that first half. We saw Neves come off. Obviously, we know a little bit more about the injury, which I'm sure we'll talk about. Trincao came on and done, for that last sort of 20 minutes of that first half, done exactly what we wanted to see from him for the last 9 months, really. So he's been, came on, gave them a nightmare. Great ball into Johnny to put it into the back of the net. Johnny picking up a really positive position, which, we haven't really had enough of. I think Semedo, although as good as he's been this season, I think he doesn't quite pick up those positions. I'm not sure if it's a tactical instruction or him personally. He's maybe not adventurous enough to get into those central areas in the box. And then Trincao, I think, about 30 yards out, hitting the post or hitting the bar. What an effort that was. I think I would have been windmilling in the South Bank if that had gone in, to be fair. Being 2-0 up there.
Well, how cold it was, wasn't
it? Preston FC. But then obviously Trincao getting a goal as well. But the Trincao goal was a lovely finish, to be fair. Just pure accuracy, wasn't it? And I don't really want to talk much about the second half, but to go in at half time, we looked like we were cruising. It looked like we were going to go into Saturday's games in sixth place in the table. But obviously, how wrong am I?
It was a weird first half in the game, wasn't it, Finn? Load of substitutions, load of injuries. I think was there 14 minutes added time, something daft like that. There was a lot of
four subs, wasn't there? I think in the first half, obviously Bamford, on and off. I think it was his first game back as well, or at least his second game back, and he's gone again.
Start, I think.
Yeah. Was it? Yeah, I can't remember who else went. Cock came on. Yeah, we had a few laughs about that. I remember that one. But no, a very strange first sort of 20 minutes. How you'd expect a Bielsa Leeds almost proper basketball game. And then we got to grips with them. And I think that's what's going to be so frustrating talking about this game is that by half time we had it. When the game was played like that, it just meant who's got the better quality on the pitch. And it allowed for, as we said, like Trincao to have a few pot shots. And that one, you'd have been right behind it, Matt, if you're in the stands. I was sort of right behind it. It was a lovely finish, lovely placement through the bodies right in the corner. And as I say, yeah, this is what's going to be most frustrating is that we had the game 2-0. I think we tweeted out a stat, didn't we, talking Wolves, that is the first time we've lost in the Premier League after being 2-0 up. So at that point, yeah, it was a good night. Maybe a Jimenez goal in the second half and my Mexican friends that I'd brought with me. And then it all went very downhill very quickly.
Yeah, I thought, well, from what I remember the first half, second half a little bit hazy, thankfully. But I still remember bits of it. And Johnny taking up an excellent position for the goal. Exactly what you want from the fullbacks. Semedo's been brilliant this year, but when Semedo's had chances like that, he's more often than not taking them. And to see you fall back in that position and smashing it in the bottom corner, fantastic. Moving on to Trincao. We've seen glimpses of this, haven't we? And this is why there's still that almost glimmer of hope that if we do make it permanent, there's, well, the phrase that everyone says, there's a player in there, isn't it? Everyone says Trincao, there's either he's shit or, yeah, there's a player in there. It's not, he's a good player. And I think we saw glimpses of that. He almost took the game by the scruff of the neck, didn't he, Dave? And like Finn said, finished with aplomb, unbelievable. So, yeah. The only a positive to take out from the game, maybe a baptism of fire for him to go back to Barcelona and pull trees up there.
Yeah, and the thing is now for him is that possibly something that could work in his favour is that obviously now with Neves injured, the likelihood of us playing two in the middle is probably three in the middle. Sorry, is probably quite unlikely now. So there's more chance of us playing with the two wide players, and I think after a performance like that, he's probably, I'm not going to say a cert to start, but he's got a very, good chance of starting it against Villa. But I don't know what it is about him. I'm still not 100% convinced by him. I certainly wouldn't pay the money that Barcelona are demanding or that it's included in his clause right now. But I don't know. He's really got to step up for me in the last part of this season for me to even, I mean, I'm talking like I'm the one that's going to trigger the clause, but for me to want to sign him, I know, he really needs to step it up for me still. Yeah, it was good, but even on Friday, I thought there was just certain elements of his game. Like second half, he was completely anonymous. I think he had to, if he really wanted to step it up, he had to be one of the players there that really, took the game by the scruff of the neck, and I just don't think he did.
You have to remember as well, was he 21, 22? Like, he's still fairly inexperienced. I'm just checking now.
Yeah, he's around that age.
He's 22, yeah, and he's not 23 until December, so he's still got a few more months.
He's 22 until he's 23, man.
He's finished. Yeah, he's still a young lad. Body language is everything, though, isn't it? He's one of those players where if he's not on the ball, he just looks like he can't be off. So that is I
think that's my issue with him. I think that's exactly. I was trying to pinpoint it. I was like, what is wrong with him? And I think that's probably it. He just doesn't look like he wants it when he's off the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he plays like that as well. Like, he just glides and he's effortless. He's almost like a Berbatov, where when he gets the ball at his feet, he's not necessarily. And that's a massive compliment to Trincao, but not necessarily. Yeah, like, it just glides. It seems effortless, and I think that's the way he comes away off the ball. He just seems relaxed. It's definitely the way he comes across when he's warming up on the fucking sideline. I'm getting more of a sweat on in the stands. But obviously Neves going off as well. Massive blow. We've learned today that he's damaged his medial ligament in his knee. So looking like May before he's back. I'd be surprised if he played any games for the rest of the season, personally. But even with that injury, Finn, it still looked like we were controlling the game.
It did. If anything, we got better going to the three up front. Trincao was dropping a little bit deeper. It was sort of, as you say, that sort of flexible formation. But yeah, if anything, it improved us. And we didn't really. Maybe we missed him to sort of calm it down in the second half when it was going a bit crazy. But honestly, that if we're moving into the second half without Neves, without a defence, it seems, I think everyone was at fault at some point. And it was just a blur, to be honest. But that sort of 55 to 65, was Raul sent off, 52, was it? 53, something like that. After that, it was mental. And it felt quite, I don't know. I was watching a lot of previews before the game, and any Leeds fan, I know we spoke to one Leeds, and if you say, right, you're having a bad season, they always like to bring up, we've got no Cooper, no Phillips, no Bamford. And a lot of them went, well, how would you do without Cody, Jimenez, and Neves? And then Neves drops, Jimenez is gone. I'm like, oh my God, they've put some northern curse on us here. I thought Cody was going to drop in the second half. But we saw, that without those two, I know we were a man down as well. It just went to.
I still think, though, if we say, if Cody, Neves, and Jimenez weren't playing, but we still had 11 players, would have beat them comfortably.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was just something that in the back of my mind, I thought, we've been cursed. But realistically, with 11 men, we battered them.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room then. Raul Jimenez.
I've been trying to avoid it.
I think I've said this 15 times this season. We've only done 12 podcasts. I said this to Dave yesterday. I'm in two camps here. I'm in the camp of it's a horrendous refereeing decision to send him off for the second yellow, but I'm also in the camp of, what are you doing here? And as you're turning up, you don't need to make that. You don't need to go in. You can pull out of that. No one's gonna think, oh, you bottled the challenge there. The keeper was gonna get there first. I'm in two minds, but we've seen Jimenez get sent off at Man City for something similar in terms of two pretty silly yellow cards. But I think the emphasis on this should go towards Kevin Friend being a complete and utter helmet.
I think it's not. It's ignore the yellow card. It's not even a foul, and I don't understand how. And I know, because I don't know how they find this content, but Leeds fans have watched every single one of our videos, and I've seen videos and podcasts that they've put out, so they can do what they please. But the Leeds fans are the only people I've seen on social media or whatever that think it is a foul.
And Jason Cundy.
Yeah.
Jason
Cundy.
Cundy.
He's a clown anyway. So ignore Wolves fans. Most of the neutral people think it's not a foul. If that was a defender for Leeds and Jimenez have gone in for the ball and the Leeds defender has come out with it with the ball, like Melier has, and they both collided, it's just a good tackle. It's a good, strong tackle. So the fact that I think it's the liner that's give it, but the fact that Kevin Friend, I saw he had another card out even when both players were down. I thought surely he's not going to send him off for that. And I've been thinking about this today. The only thing that's making me think maybe is that maybe after the booking he'd already warned Jimenez for something else. I don't know, but I just can't see if that was anywhere else on the pitch. If that was not a goalkeeper, it's not a foul. It's just a strong 50-50. It's just like a defender. You would 3 or 4 years ago, you'd be praising people for making that tackle. And it's just, I just can't see how he's sent it. And he's just completely ruined the game after that then.
I don't think, if it is a foul, it's definitely not a yellow card.
It's no intent there whatsoever, is there?
He's not in
danger. He doesn't stick any part of his body out. It's only Meslier with an extended leg. Yeah, obviously, he's gone for the ball, but Jimenez just runs it. There's no.
And the worst thing for me out of this is when Leeds fans are saying, well, if Jimenez got the ball and took it past Melier and Melier took him down, you'd be screaming for a booking. I'll be like, yeah, but that's a completely different thing. Because Jimenez has got the ball and took it past him. Whereas that is just a 50-50 coming together. If Jimenez got it, and, it just doesn't make sense to me. And Melier's on the floor before Jimenez even gets there. He's sliding. It's not like Jimenez is taking him out.
That argument, though, that's like saying, well, if Jimenez took it round him and Meslier caught with him, then took him from behind, then went and shagged his missus in the box.
And then kegged him. Yeah.
Then slapped his dog. You'd be calling out for a yellow.
Respect Dobby. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The Leeds fans have been quite weird this way. Like you said, they clipped up that podcast, which is... It's strange. Very, very similar to Arsenal fans in the fact that I've probably only met 3 that are sound. It's I just don't get it. It's almost his forced rivalry.
I like one Leeds. Jimmy.
He's one of the good guys. One of the good guys. But it's not a yellow card for me. And like Dave said, Finn, It completely changed the course of the game. But I just knew, I 100% knew what was coming. And I said it when it happened, that is going to cost us the game. And it did. However, there's still a lot of football to be played from the 53rd minute where he got sent off to the 91st when they scored. And we completely went to shit, didn't we?
Yeah, and the worst thing is, and the most frustrating thing is probably the reason why none of us have watched any highlights back. I've sort of wanted to pretend it's like not happened, especially with the red card, but there's not one place where you can pinpoint the blame. You can go at everyone. You can say to Bruno, right, after that sending off, why did we play with two wide wingers with no focal point to relieve the pressure? You can say to Aït-Nouri, who was poor on the first goal. Sace was poor on the, when did he kick the ball up in the air? Second goal. Bolly just watched most of the goals, which was highlighted. You can then say to Cody, because despite not making any errors himself, it's his back line that he's responsible for. We've often seen his like coaching of Bolly. So you can push it on him. You can push like this. I'm lost in where I even start on the blame. So it's just to sort of pretend it never happened. And I wouldn't even know how to start.
Dave, any more thoughts?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of people that were pinpointing the blame at Bruno after the game, and I thought, why? But then I almost sort of answered my own question in the review I did. I think, as mad as it sounds, the striker is such a difficult position to replace when you get a red card. Although we were already 2-0 up, but I think Bruno's got to do something. Either bite the bullet and bring off Podence and bring on Fabio Silva, or even, really bite the bullet and bring off Trincao and bring on Fabio Silva because Podence I thought was doing okay. You need some sort of focal point out there. And like I said, Trincao was just stuck on that right wing. He wouldn't move from there. Podence was doing a lot of running inside and to the left. But one of the other things, I'm not sure if you had it, you were planning on mentioning it. The one thing that Leeds fans are mentioning a lot is like, well, Wolves got away with another one, and that was the Jean Moutinho tackle. And I don't know if any of you have seen it back.
Yeah.
For me, I think Moutinho is quite lucky on that one. But I think, well, there's two sides to this. Obviously, if the Jimenez incident doesn't happen, there's pretty 99.9% chance that the Moutinho incident doesn't happen. But on the flip side of that, if Jimenez doesn't get sent off and Moutinho makes that tackle, I think he gets sent off.
What did he do?
He caught him on top of his knee, didn't he?
He gets the ball. He gets the ball, but he's high. His top leg is very high and connects with like the side of the knee of I don't know which player it was. I think it might be Dallas. Who was it?
I thought it was Luke Ayling, wasn't it?
I don't know. One of their players, or the guy with the long black hair. Is it Stroik or something? I don't even know if he was playing. Yeah, but basically, I think that was it. He won the ball, but his top leg is quite high.
Right.
And like I said, I think I would have been disappointed if a red card hadn't been given. If that was against us, I thought, it's just out of control, I thought anyway. So we were quite fortunate on that. Then they bring up the Jimenez incident for the free kick we won, which led to the second goal, which, to be fair, when I was in the stands, I thought it was a little bit theatrical. And they've shown me certain replays where it looks like there isn't much of a touch. But I can't be too certain on that one. But I think we did get away with one with the Moutinho tackle, if we're being 100% fair.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those where if he stays on the pitch, you know, fair enough. If he goes off, fair enough. Like you have seen them given. Personally, I don't think that tackles like that should be sending offs. But in terms of previous incidents and the laws, then it could have been deemed sending off. 78 minutes, though, Finn. Takes Podence off for Hwang. It's a bit of a strange one for me. I'd have stuck Silva up there and used as a focal point because Hwang was pretty anonymous.
You know, I can't even remember that happening. That's mad, isn't it? Did he do 68th, 78th minute? I remember Fabio coming on for like the last 5 and Chiquinho.
Fabio came on 90+2 after they scored.
What?
Yeah, well, Hwang must have been anonymous because I do not remember him having a touch, to be honest. I think
Why would you bring Hwang on ahead of Fabio as well?
Did you remember it happening, Dave?
He brought Chiquinho and Silva on for Johnny and then Duncan.
I remember that, well, after the Ailing goal. Yeah. And
I genuinely, forward. If you said to me, if true or false did Hwang play, I probably would have said false because I can't remember.
Is that the quiz question?
Yeah.
Question number 6.
No, I don't remember either, to be honest. No.
Good performance.
Yeah, you want to bring Silva on there, don't you? Someone a bit more of a focal point to play into to get you up the pitch. It's crying out for his armour, really, would he?
Yeah. No, yeah, it was just like Finn said though. Defensively, the second goal when Sar's in no man's land. Bolly's just watching it. The shit clearance from Aït-Nouri, I think. I'm
No,
just
it
saying,
was
like, what
Sace, wasn't it? He kicked the
was
ball
it?
up in the
Sace?
air.
That was it. Yeah, sorry.
He sliced. He's been shit the past 2 or 3 weeks. Sace. Rubbish.
Yeah, so that was the one for me. And then when they were just piling on the pressure with the set pieces, yeah. So you know what as well, by the way. So there was obviously when the Leeds fans celebrate, like it was probably a bit like us at Villa, late comeback. So they had like the chairs flying everywhere and stuff. And when went to Molineux today, and I was like looking in their section, and I was like, is that just the angle I'm stood at? But you could see there were like 6 or 7 chairs just missing from the lower Steve Bull. I said to the one guys, I said, like, the Leeds fans are there. Is it just me, or does it look like there's chairs missing there? And they're like, nah, there are. Could just see all the tops of the chairs missing.
I know, well, unconfirmed that there was kickoffs in the Billy Wright in the family enclosure. I think there was Leeds fans in the boxes behind, obviously the lower tier. I'm not against like opposition fans sitting in there, but what you can't do is goad and be leery. It's a family enclosure. I've been in there. I've been in there before when we were in the Prem the last time, and something like this happened, and a bloke sat next to me who may or may not know went and dragged someone over the balcony and started kicking fuck out of him. So these incidents do happen in a family enclosure. Like, the club have got to look at that.
No, the thing is, if you're going to have opposition fans there, they need to be like, if it's in the Steve Bull stand, fair enough, because it's behind the glass. But as soon as you come outside of that glass, you can't be celebrating in the home end like that. The one time I remember it happening was when I was in the family enclosure back in the day. It was when I think we drew 1-1 with Leighton Orient in League One, and there was an Orient fan in there giving it the big one.
It was bad. It was down, just like my side of the family enclosure. Yeah, and it was just like 8 big blokes all giving it the big one in front of a load of kids. It was really, really weird. And there's a way of doing it. Like, there was after the game, there was 2 people that were blatantly Leeds fans, sort of like a row and a few down from me, stayed quiet the whole game and just gave it a little fist bump at the end. And it was like, they was fine. They were on the right. It was like respect. Like, they sort of smiled at me. I sort of smiled back. But like, that's how you do it. People do it. It happens in so many games. I mean, I looked at it for Brentford. When you can't get a ticket, you'll find a way. But you just stay. It's easier said than done. But to give it to a load of kids, weird behaviour.
Talking of Brentford, Dave and I saw we won't say it was. He's an avid listener of the podcast. Try and guess who it was in the home end Brentford at the full-time whistle with 2 blokes under his arms. Headbutting another bloke. His dad was eating punches off another Brentford fan. It was
granite chins.
It was box office stuff. So it does happen, and you got to behave yourself. But if you look at us at Spurs, Dave, obviously that hospitality there is behind the away fans. It's suitable for home and away fans. There's a little bit of a buffer between the two, but you jump up and you score, and like, it's all right, but you're behind the away fans. You can't do it in a home end, man. You can't, because one of these days someone's going to get seriously hurt. But I think the club should look at it. But how do you vet who's supports who?
Exactly. Yeah, it's tough.
If anything, it's just respect.
Let them all have the Steve Bull boxes, isn't it? Should let them have those ones, because the amount of abuse those poor people.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's probably a company that've got this box in the Billy Wright in it, and it's just it's not even about. Well, I suppose it is a little bit about vetting it, but it's just about respect and common sense, really. At the end of the day, isn't it?
But saying that they'd like. So the stewards are doing more. I'm not being funny, but if I'm not on £9 an hour, I'm not eating shots off some Leeds fan. Like, I'm just going to.
You know what?
You wouldn't know, would you?
The stewards have been ejecting a lot more away fans, than I've seen in recent weeks.
They're specialist ones, I think. They're like.
Yeah, but just in general though, like down, because in SL1 you obviously got the away fans down there as well. Like they've been on top of it a lot more. Things they get, to be fair though, against Leicester. Obviously against Leeds, or a lot more things thrown and stuff, bottles, chairs. Some guy threw a lighter at us in the Leicester one, and they're quick. They got cameras everywhere. People don't realise that though. You say one thing wrong and you get reported, they'll find you on camera saying it. It's
You
mad.
finish.
It's mad.
This isn't like me. I know we're just moaning and being really PC and like airy-fairy, but this isn't me taking away from Leeds fans celebrating. Like, by all means, like, we'd do exactly the same. But it's just those isolated incidents, like in the box, where you're in front of the kids, man. Like, grow up, have a beer, enjoy yourself, celebrate the goal, but do it respectfully.
I've got to say as well, though, with Leeds, their support is probably the best at Molineux this season.
Unbelievable support, even at home. Like,
mate, the home
probably the best we've seen.
They sucked that equaliser in, didn't they? For that. Oh, mate, they're unbelievable at home, yeah. But I think we could blame Kevin Friend for it, going back to Dave. That from like the red card, he lost all control. Like, even the Leeds bench, the game just turned. It was like a dream, wasn't it? It was like and God forbid I call him Ted Lasso again. My God, the amount.
I said that on my review. I didn't have any comments, thankfully. But
I've had loads today.
I just thought his consistency in general. Like, I thought he was very quick to book Wolves players for certain incidents. When there were certain Leeds players that got away with 2 or 3 challenges before the card came out. I don't know what it is. I don't know if we've upset him in a previous game or whatever. But yeah, it was disappointing overall. And I thought that did ruin the game. So
it did. Let's address the other elephant in the room, and that was Betmate. So
Captain Jimenez.
We have to.
So I picked my team before I went away, and because Betmate is only available in the UK, be gamble aware, I couldn't change my team, so I'd pick Rafinha and I'd pick Gelhardt, and none of them were in the squad, so I was already pissing in the wind. Dave, you went with someone a little bit different, didn't you? You managed to change your team before kick-off, so you managed to put Bamford in there instead of Harrison instead of Rafinha. So Harrison scored you 11 points, but somehow, despite me not being able to change my team and having 2 players who didn't play, still managed to finish above you. Any thoughts on that at all?
All right, let's pre-match up. I've got Neves, Jimenez, Bamford, and for me that's safe bets in it. Neves comes off injured, Bamford comes off injured, Jimenez obviously 2 foot Hurricane Rana somebody. Obviously he gets sent off. Harrison did all right. You know the worst thing though, Matt, I had Luke Ayling in and I took him out for volley. So I think we could have been having a different conversation if I stuck to my guns there. But you know what? 4-3 up now you are. So I'll give it to you. Well, where did you finish then? I'm just
38th. I mean, it's
it's better. Yeah, you got 18. It was a low scoring week. You still got 6 points more than me.
I mean, I put Ayling in, and obviously,
but you say that Rafinha and Gelhardt, you still had 2 Leeds players, like good Leeds players, come in for them. You had Rodrigo and Click.
No, but only Click came in. Rodrigo had already picked.
You had Ayling. Did well there.
Yeah, I had Johnny on the bench, so that could have been another 10 points, and that would have put me like.
I would have put the Cats on a month. Oh, you would have just been outside, you know.
I know. I mean, the winner this week though was the Mags lady. Jose Sarr in goal, 8 Nuri streak at the back. Captain Trincao, which is
what a sado, man. Why would you Captain Trincao?
Get to it live. Pedence, Bamford, and James.
Shall I tell you what's worse about that though, Matt?
What?
It is an automatic sub because I obviously captained Chem Campbell.
Yeah. They captain Chem Campbell. This is a masterstroke. We are witnessing greatness.
What? I'm going to do that.
Starting captain, Trincao. Starting vice captain, Chem Campbell.
Oh, no. Oh, so they still started Trincao and then Pedence got subbed in because they had Chem Campbell. But the mad thing is, they got Greenwood, whoever that is, on the bench, who would have given her 8 points. So she could have been far away. But I assume it's a lady, by the way.
The Mags lady, maybe. Have to let us know in the comments. But the fact that his vice captain, he or she, they have vice captain Campbell, probably knowing full well that he's never get game time. If anything, it's showboating, really. It's just a piss take.
Playing 5D chess, yeah.
Playing 6D chess. Yeah. Well, congratulations anyway. They won it by 0.5 of a point.
It's good to see some Wolves fans. Kieran finished 3rd as well.
Barker, friend of the pod. He finished 3rd.
Regular.
Yeah. It's good to see so many of you getting involved, though. It really is. I mean, we said at the start, come and try and beat me and Dave, but it seems like it's getting quite easy for you. But just on that, actually, as we come on to the Villa game, we're only halfway through the pod now. For the Villa game, we're doing a private pot. So same premise, same game kind of thing. But for this, you will need to join our private pot. Dave will leave the code down below and the link to join it. And it's a free game. It's free to enter. It pays 5 places, I believe, and it's your chance to win a share of 100 quid. So, like I said, it's a free to play. Come and join. Come and get involved. Apply your wits against us free. Probably going to be a piece of piss for you. So it's 1st of April, isn't it, the game? 1st, 2nd of April?
Yeah, I hope it's not
so it's still a while away yet. So make sure you make sure you do join though. Like I said, free to enter, and of course, be gamble aware.
Mm-hmm.
Villa. Let's talk about the Villa game because Jimenez is going to be out. Neves is going to be out. I'm more asked about the second one. I'm not really fussed about Jimenez being out personally, but Villa are looking at an half decent side again, aren't they, Dave?
They are. I think after their defeat last weekend against Arsenal, I think Gerrard was a little bit wound up after it. I think he actually spoke about Wolves and said that Villa have still got work to do to be on the level as Wolves, West Ham United, Spurs, etc. So, you take that as a compliment. But yeah, they've certainly stepped it up since Gerrard. They've got a game in hand, but we're still 10 points clear. It's mad that with the amount of points that we've dropped, that we are still 10 points clear of our closest, rival below us, I suppose. But yeah, I've just got a feeling now, and I'm sure maybe one or two of the questions at the end are going to be asking us these sort of questions. But I've got a feeling now that Europe may well just be out of reach. I'm saying that we're only 2 points behind West Ham, but this is the game. We win this, I think minimum we finish 8th.
Yeah.
So we've got to, if we can win this, that'll be a huge, huge win for us, and obviously getting bragging rights over the Villa.
I think Europa League's out of the question, personally. Yeah. I think Conference League is still within reach. Someone tweeted me earlier and said, with the Neves injury and Jimenez being suspended, I don't know why he said this with Jimenez being suspended, but is this now the chance for Bruno to play 4-4-2 for the rest of the season? And I've said no. I think it's too risky, considering that Europe, in any capacity, is still in touching distance, isn't it, Finn?
Yeah, I think it's us and West Ham for 7th. I think we both slipped up recently, and I was cheering West Ham on in the Europa League because they looked shattered against Tottenham. So if that can happen a few more times, and we can hopefully gain some points that way, Lyon's going to be a tough game for them. But yeah, it's a shootout for us and West Ham for 7th. I don't know how that would work if West Ham then won the Europa League and then got Champions League, whether we'd get it in 8th. I don't know.
No, I think it goes down. Yeah, I think it goes down.
I think they need to lose Europa League.
No, because if they win, they get Champions League, and the Europa League place gets pushed down, I think.
I don't know. I opened a can of worms there.
It really does confuse. And that's obviously not great for a podcast.
Yeah, but realistically, there's some great teams left in the Europa League.
I think top 8 will get it. If West Ham win it, I think top 8 will get Europe. So
if West Ham finish 7th. We'll figure out. But it's a big thing to rely on. I think West Ham beating the likes of Barcelona and Lyon. So we'll see. I'll cheer them on. But it's a shootout. I've had a look at the fixtures, quite similar. Wolves and West Ham. I think we've all got to play the top 3. And it does feel like, we'll be out of sight of the rest, like 9th and below, if we can do it against Villa. They've blown hot and cold for me. I had a big debate in the pub maybe like 2 weeks ago in the middle of Birmingham, which probably wasn't wise. But I think Gerrard's sort of aura has masked their actual results, if you know what I mean. Like, when I looked and it was like 2 wins out of his first 9 games, you wouldn't think that, would you? Because it's been like, Gerrard looks good there, and he looked nice when he walked across the pitch at Everton. You know what I mean? So it has been confusing in the last few games, albeit against like West Ham, Arsenal. Haven't been picking up any points, and it will be nice to do the double over them. So I've got a bit of confidence, and this is going to get clipped up just like everything I've said in the last week when we lose.
Yeah, there has been an aura around Gerrard. I think he's a brilliant manager personally. I think he'll go right to the very top, but there is almost that it's masked the fact that they haven't been as good as what other pundits have kind of put out there. I mean, lost the last 2, but won the last 3 before that, in a similar kind of run of form to what we've been in. So it's definitely going to be an interesting game. I'm just looking at European qualification for the Conference League. So if the FA Cup winners finish in the top 5 of the Premier League, their Europa League group stage will go to the next highest ranked team not qualified for the UEFA competition. If the EFL Cup winners finish in the top 5 of the Premier League, or top 6, if the previous statement happens, is very confusing. The Europa Conference League place will go to the next highest team not qualified for UEFA competition in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's just top 7 though. That is at the minute.
Yeah.
So what I would want to know is if West Ham, and I don't know how easy it would be to find out, if West Ham do win the Europa League, if they get Champions League, and obviously 5th downwards gets, well, whatever downwards gets pushed down. Same with Leicester actually, because they're in the Conference League still, aren't they?
Yeah, but they don't. The Champions League, they don't get pushed down, do they? Because there's always a spot for the Europa League winner, no matter where they're from, isn't it? So it's just
yeah. So but what I'm saying is that would free up a Europa League space in the Prem, and does the next place team. So we'll for argument's sake, will top 7 get Europa League, and then 8th place get Conference League.
So say if who's won the EFL Cup? It's Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'd need someone to win the FA
sorted
Cup.
Anyway. Yeah, in the FA Cup, you've got the top 3 and Crystal Palace. So if Crystal Palace win it, then we're out. But realistically, one of the 3 is going to win it, aren't they?
So, and then it says here the Europa Conference League playoff will go
to the top 8 anyway, then surely, isn't it?
Ranked team not qualified for Europe. Excuse me. A team not qualified for UEFA competitions in the Premier League. So if West Ham win it, they're qualified for UEFA competition. So it could be 7th, it could be 8th. Fucking hell. Even the Villa might
renew the passports. Come on.
Get ready.
Come on. We're all going to Budapest. Again.
So perhaps it's on the cards. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We need someone at the Athletic who knows what they're doing to put it together. Right then, lads, let's talk about loan players. We're edging nearing the edge of the season now. And we've got loads and loads of players out on loan, but a couple that we get asked about quite a lot, and more so that the person we're going to talk about first is Morgan Gibbs-White and Ryan Giles. But let's start with Gibbs-White. I think there's been a lot of hoo-ha on Twitter today, mostly because Neves is out injured, and it's always we've got no cover in centre mid. We should have recalled him. But what do you do with him next season? Do you integrate him back into the squad? Because at Sheffield United this season, he's been dubbed as one of the best players outside of the Premier League. He's got 10 goals, 7 assists, which is a fantastic return, the best return he's had, probably because it's the most minutes he's had. I'm looking here. He's played through the middle 12 times. He's played on the right 7 times. He's even played up top. So start with you, Dave. What on earth do we do with him?
Well, the one positive from Morgan is that I think over the last 2 years in particular, obviously at Swansea and then at Sheffield United, is that he's let the football do the talking. Because, you cast your mind back to lockdown and what happened with him there. I think there was a lot of people that thought we'd never ever see him wear a Wolves shirt again. So he's let the football do the talking, and he started. I thought he had a really strong pre-season at Wolves. I had a couple of good games. He was really good in the cup game against Forest, and obviously I think we mentioned it a couple of times. We sat with his parents, Matt, at the game, and his dad just said he wants to play football. He was disappointed when he was recalled last year, and Nuno barely gave him a kick. So I think that's the key thing now. I think you can see what happens when a player is playing a good level of football consistently. He's by far one of the best players that we've got out on loan at the moment. But it is, what do we do with him? I think with the way we play currently, I could see him in a midfield 3 as someone that can push slightly further forward, someone that is comfortable and can drive forward on the ball. I could see him playing out wide with the way, like I said, because he is comfortable on the ball. But I think you've got to be guaranteeing him a good amount of minutes. I would like to see him back at Wolves. If, for argument's sake, Sheffield United come up, I'm sure they're going to be trying to sign him. But Wolves, I don't know about you guys. Realistically, you got to be valuing him at maybe 20 million plus. I don't know if that's a bit too much or if that's fair,
that
but
was my next question.
yeah. So I think that's what I would say. If Bruno Lage is adamant that you can't really give him the game time he wants, and Morgan might be the one that says, like, unless you're going to make me a guaranteed starter, I don't want to be here, then fair enough. But I'd be wanting at least 20 million for him, I think.
How long has he got left on his deal? Is it 2 years?
I think he signed a new one before one of the.
That's what I thought before he went. Yeah. Feels like one of them, doesn't it? Like where they do a new contract and then loan him out.
2024, so 2 years left.
2 years left in his deal. And that's not that 2 years, it's limbo time, isn't it? Yeah. I feel like this summer is going to be the decision where they either give him a new contract, keep him, or try and get rid of him on a permanent deal. But what do you think, Finn?
I'm glad Dave said what he said, because I'm quite an emotional person, and I want him to start for Wolves. Just sort of like coming from my town and having the ability. I look at, like, I was watching Leicester at the weekend, and they were saying about like Harvey Barnes, Dewsbury Hall. They're starting every week, coming through the academy, and we haven't had someone like that for a while, and maybe since Danny Bath left. And maybe we'll figure out that he was in the Huckabee zone or like a Mitrovic, and he was only ever Championship level, and he's going to have that career where he thrives there and never quite makes it for Wolves. But in his last maybe 10 appearances for Wolves, maybe like towards the end of Nuno and those chances Bruno gave him, I thought he's been fantastic. And as you say, they played through the middle. I think he could play in a 3. He could play as in a midfield 3. He could play in a front 3. He could be very, very versatile for us. I see a lot of positives, and I'm probably ignoring the negatives that are there. But I'd love to see him come back and start. And I think he deserves to. I think in a midfield 3, he's going to offer more. I know it's a different role, but than like Dendoncker, or I think he's got a case to say, look what I've done now. He's got a solid season of Championship football, scoring or assisting basically every week. It feels like that every time I pick up my phone to check Sheffield United. And as a proud shirt owner, obviously, I'm willing him on. But I really want to see him succeed. And I guess now, as you say, 2 years left. He's 22, 23. This is the time where he'll prove it, hopefully, next season.
Yeah, he's 22 now. It feels like he's been at this age for about 5 years. But it seems like he's matured quite a lot in the last year or so playing regular football. And perhaps this is the baptism of fire he needed. I can see him coming back and playing for us based off how well he's played this season. I think there could be a space in the team for him if Moutinho was to go. I don't think that Bruno would like to deploy him in the same way he does Dendoncker, purely because I think he plays Dendoncker as that third midfielder, so to speak. He's almost like an outlet, isn't he? He's a ball to hit. He's always on because of his size. So I think he'd have to play a little bit deeper. I can see him potentially playing in the role that Podence picks up in the 3-5-2, almost as a second striker. I think his versatility and his performances, whilst being so versatile this season, will hold him in good stead. And I think Bruno will give him the pre-season. I really hope so. We all want him to succeed. He's not one of our own. He's a United fan from Stafford, but he is one of our own in one respect. He's come through the academy, and we all want that kind of that story, don't we? Because we've not had a player come through the academy in probably since Lescott, who have actually gone on and played in the Premier League and have played at a decent level. Whether you think Hennessy was any good is a different question, but then went to Palace and played for them. So
I just searched Hennessy, like, just to see his like career path. He's just come up with the alcohol. So, yeah. Yes. Oh no, yeah, but Hennessy come from Man City. We like in 2003. So
did
does that count?
Yeah. And Keane come from Ireland, didn't he? So yeah, hopefully he comes back in pre-season and impresses. But Ryan Giles is another player who's done really well this season in the Championship. Previously at Cardiff, brought him back. And Bruno said that he's on a par with Ryan Aït-Nouri, who's been one of the most outstanding players for us this season, which I think is a compliment to Giles. Hasn't really got the minutes that he would have wanted going on loan to Blackburn now for the remainder of the season. I think he's played 6 times, only assisted once. But when he was at Cardiff, he assisted 9 times. And I think he had a real kind of purple patch there. With Marcel going to Botafogo, Dave, well, rumoured, pretty much confirmed.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a place for Giles in the team? So not similar to Marcel at all in the fact that he's got two working legs. But
yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think again this preseason could be big for Ryan Giles. We didn't really, he didn't play for us, did he, in the preseason this year? Just gone.
I can't remember, mate. I've slept since then.
I don't think he did. So this preseason could be big for him. This preseason could be big for him. I think, but Marcel, I think, will go. I don't think we'll renew his contract. Keanu Hoover, we don't know what's going on with him. So if you've got Johnny who can play both sides and as a rotation for Semedo, and then Aït-Nouri and Giles on that left-hand side. And I think the beauty with Giles is that he could play a little bit further forward. Or if you wanted to, if Bruno was, looking at a switch to the 4-4-2, I think as like a left midfielder, Ryan Giles could do the job as well. But I think this is another one. There's a couple of players there that Bruno has obviously had a look at in January. He's liked the look of. I think he really wanted to keep Giles for the remainder of the season. And then there's players like Dion Sanderson as well, who I think did quite well at Blues at the start of the season, and things haven't quite gone to plan for him at QPR so far. But the good thing is that they're both getting decent amount of minutes. All three of them actually getting decent amount of minutes for teams that are chasing promotion from the Championship. So it's a really good experience for them this year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sanderson was doing really well at Birmingham. I've got quite a lot of mates with Blues fans and said he's the best centre half they've seen in years. He's gone to QPR and not really had the same impact. Had a couple of stinkers, got sent off for a headbutt, which is a bit naive, but like I said, young player as well. So it'll be interesting to see what we do with those. I think that out of those three, I think it'd be more likely to see Giles come in and be a part of the squad. Obviously, Gibbs White's had the better time, but I think there's almost that kind of will he stay, will he not?
I think we've got too many options at the moment in those areas as well. And I think he will still be in the summer because he's had such a strong season. He will want to be playing football again next year straight away. He'll be wanting to be carrying on. And I'm not sure if Wolves can guarantee it unless the likes of Matinho move on. And you bring in another central midfielder and Morgan, because I think, it's obvious that we need another central midfielder as well in there. I'll be interested to see, but I wouldn't dislike the 5-3-2. Is that the right? Yeah, 5-3-2. If Morgan's in that middle three, because he can act a bit more as a number 10. But when was the last time we had 3 loanees at 3 good clubs in the Championship level like that? I think our 23s at the moment, and I suppose these players are sort of in between the two, but it's probably the strongest it's been for a large number of years, to be fair.
Yeah, got Kundal still in there as well, who's doing, coming and done well in a couple of appearances he's made this season. On Giles, though, again, similar to Gibbs White, versatile, can play anywhere on that left-hand side, probably best as a left wing-back, but isn't he meant to be absolutely rapid as well?
Yeah, he's quick.
Yeah, he's quick.
I reckon Finn would beat him in a race, though.
Oh, well.
Finn couldn't run a fucking bath. Sorry, Finn, mate. He's not impressed. Anyway, moving on.
Target man.
Sorry, target man. Target man. That's what you want, static target man. We've got a little bit of a quiz. So Finn, you'll be back to smiling now because you're probably going to get some points on the board here. These questions are from Wolves' performance against Leeds on Friday. So sorry for bringing it up again, lads. It's going to be in a similar format that what we usually do. So I'm going to ask 5 questions. I'm going to ask you both the same question. I'm going to go with a tiebreaker to decide who goes first. So, Dave, can you tell me the height in meters of the tallest freestanding clock tower in the world?
What the hell is wrong with you, man? What is that question?
Sorry, in Europe. In Europe.
Sorry, my dogs are barking. That's why I'm taking a while to answer. 80 meters.
80 meters. What about you, Finn?
I'm trying to think. Is it because it's in Budapest and he's just learned it?
That's definitely why.
Is it because it's that one in Birmingham Uni? They always rave about that big clock, don't they? Because they were playing Villa.
Big one, sorry.
I didn't go to Birmingham Uni. What did you say, Dave? 80. I'll go 107.
Oh, it's close. It's close. Finn's a winner. It's 100 meters. It is in Birmingham. You're quite correct. It's the Joseph Chamberlain Memorial Clock Tower, part of the University of Birmingham Selly Oak campus.
Oh, I was there. I saw it the other week.
Yeah, it's quite big, isn't it? It's quite impressive.
That's what she said.
Massive clock. Right then. You want to go first, Finn, or do you want Dave to go first? You get to pick.
I'll go first.
Well, what you want to do there is you want Dave to go first and see if he can match his answer. But
I know, but I feel like too many times on these quizzes I just go off what Dave said. So I'll be a big boy.
You'll be a big boy. Who had the highest expected goals, Wolves versus Leeds, for Wolves on Friday night?
I'm thinking Raul had 2 chances. Trincão's were mostly outside the box. Johnny's was from a nice position, but that must have been his only shot. Do you want any more clues here, Dave? Trying to help you out. I'll go. If Raul made contact on that one that was like 5 yards out, it's just whether they'll count it where he got bundled over. I'll say Raul.
Dave?
I'm going Johnny because his goal and he had that open goal which he put over the bar as well.
I feel like Dave might have done his research, you know. Johnny Otto.
Come on. God.
Get in there. 0.4 Johnny Otto. So
big numbers.
Still quite low.
Quite low still. But what I want to ask you, Finn, is who drew the most fouls?
Ooh. I'm gonna say. Did anyone get? Have you got like total fouls there? There must not have been that. I can't remember leaping out my seat many times. I'm going to say...
You're asking a lot of me now.
I'm between Pedence or Trincão. So I'm going to say Trincão.
Dave?
I'll go the opposite. I'll go Pedence.
You're both wrong. It was, in fact, Johnny Otto.
Oh, the boy.
He's everywhere.
He's only 2 fouls, so not huge numbers. Finn, who received the most progressive passes for Wolves? So a pass that goes forward.
I'll go Trincão again.
Dave?
I'll go Pedence again.
It was Trincão. He received 7 passes. But Yadar still thinks he's shit. Touches in the opposition's box, Finn. Who had the most of those for Wolves?
Johnny?
Johnny or Trincão? No. Neither. Spoiler, it's neither of those.
Oh. The opposition's box. So there's not many to choose from now. I think we're in a 50-50 here, Dave. And I'm going to go for Pedence.
Dave?
Because of his chance in the first half, where he took about 12 touches before he should have shot, I'm going to match you and go Pedence as well.
You're both wrong. It was either 8 Nuri or Jimenez. They both had 5.
8 Nuri?
Wow. Have you touched many boxes recently, Finn?
Zero touches this season.
0.0.
XG. Expect XB. Expect
XG. XB is probably 0.3.
0.03.
Yeah.
The expected
underperforming the XB, unfortunately.
Disgusting. Finally, lads.
XC, however.
So, who made the most progressive passes that went into the final third? So into the opposition's third, excluding set pieces. Do you need that explaining again?
Was that played passes, not received?
Passes made, progressive passes made that went into the final third, excluding set pieces. It's 1-1, isn't it?
Yeah. How many questions we got left?
This is the last one.
Oh, should we say it at the same on the count of 3,
okay.
Dave? I don't know mine.
I'll count you in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on 3, on 3, you say it. 1, 2, 3.
Matinho. Oh.
Oh,
All right, I'll
God.
take one for the team. I'll say
No.
Donk.
I'm going
Alright.
to take your first answer. You both got it right. It's Martinho. It's
Yes.
fine.
2-2.
So
Thank you,
right.
mate. You saved me there.
I need.
Give us another clock tower fact to do a tiebreaker.
No, okay. We'll get you another tiebreaker. Who completed the most passes for Wolves? Dave, I'll start with you. Above 10 passes, so more than 10 passes, who completed the most?
Leander Dendoncker.
Bum, 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 bum.
Finn?
Sace. I hate that so much.
It's
You might
tense,
be
I can
right.
feel it. Completing
That's Cody,
45 passes out of 48, 4 of them progressive.
That's not Sace.
It was Roman Sace.
Oh, he only
got it.
misplaced 3.
He's
I
done
felt like
it.
he misplaced loads.
He's done it. Fair play, mate. He's done
Sure,
bits
that was-
there. Definitely on it. Stats are accurate of fbref.com. Do not come for me because I do not care.
That boot up in the air counts as a pass.
Yeah,
That's
it's not,
one
definitely
minute.
not completed. It's an assist, pre-assist. Chaps, question times. We'll run through these fairly quickly. So, Joey XGJHP on Twitter has asked, rank our wingers from best to worst. So for this, it's Hwang, Pedence, Trincao, Chiquinho, and Neto.
And Morgan.
No, because he's
We'll leave him
on
in.
loan. Yeah.
I'll go first. Best on what we're saying, like on current form, or just what we've seen from them in a Wolves shirt.
I think
XB.
this season.
Well, you can't really conclude Neto in that, I don't think. Can you? All right, if everyone's fully fit, right, and I was picking a team, my choices would be Neto,
Yeah.
Pedence.
Yeah.
How many was there? 5, yeah. Neto, Pedence.
You got Trincao, Hwang, and Chiquinho.
Neto, Pedence. Trincao, Hwang, Chiquinho.
Finn.
So tough, isn't it? Because Chiquinho hasn't
The
really
bottom 3 could
done
be
much
any
wrong.
order.
They're all on a joint pedestal, yeah. Like that swimming photo, wasn't it? That girl swim where they all stand on third place. That's sort of where they are. Hwang scored goals, but hasn't looked great as a footballer. Chiquinho's looked good in flash. It's harsh to, yeah, but I'll go with the same first 2.
Are you going to rank them, or are you just going to?
I'm just going to compliment.
It's like pointless when they've got to discuss the answers after the first person, isn't it?
Pondering on your thoughts for like 10 minutes.
And none of them are losers. They're all. I'm trying to give them all away that they're winners.
I'm going to go
finishing. Trincao for your nutmegs. Well done, son. Have a sticker. But no, I'll go same front 2, and then the other 3 are all joint third.
Okay. Can you rank your last 3, please? Because I feel like you're going to get that.
If Trincao hadn't done what he'd done, he'd be bottom. Like if Leeds game aside, he'd probably be bottom. And God,
you're right there, mate.
Yeah, I'll agree with Dave. I'll look fine.
I think for me, and I don't normally get involved with these, but I feel like I will. I'd say Neto, Pedence, Trincao, Chiquinho, Hwang, personally.
Ooh.
From what I've seen this season, for an out-and-out winger, because he says rate the wingers.
Oh, you can't flip in, start picking player roles now.
Rank, not the outside, not the inside forwards.
Oh, that's bollocks. That's obviously what it means.
I don't make the rules, mate. I just enforce them. James Saxon has asked, would you move Saison in the summer considering his contract situation and he seems to be losing form again in the side? Start with you, Finn.
Until the last few games, I'd have said give him a contract. Now I'm starting to worry. I like him as a person and as a utility man, but how old is he? 31? I think he's good to have around the squad if you could extend it by a year or 2 to not start, because you're going to need a bench as well, aren't you, of quality, especially if we end up in Europe. Yeah. So I'd probably just about give him a deal, unless he kicks a few more in the air until the end of the season, then he can go.
What about you, Dave?
Well, I've got one for you.
Oh, God.
He reignites his Wolves career towards the end of the season.
I play him as a holding midfielder, don't you dare?
He pushes up to the midfield, or we bring Totti Gomez in, say slots into the middle, and Connor Cody pushes up to a holding midfielder.
Attacking midfielder. Plays the Dendonka.
I don't know. I would have him as a squad player, but I think he'd probably want to be more than that. I would like us to replace him next season, as in his position. But I'm not against the idea of him staying at the club.
I think he's got Marseille written all over him personally.
Someone like that, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? He's Lambert era, wasn't he? Before
yeah, man. He's other than Cody, he's the longest serving player.
Having a testimonial soon.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not really asked, to be honest. He's dropped off the last few weeks, but he had a good season. Depends what he wants. Depends what terms he wants as well, doesn't he? If he wants like his wage, he's doubling, then he can sling his hook. And I think he's well within his right to ask that because he's had up until last few games a good season. A few questions about Neves. I think we may have answered it in the last pod, but no, it may change things with the injury. Is there any way that we can keep Ruben Neves this summer without qualifying for Europe?
If he can't walk, it would help.
Yeah, they'll be out for a couple of months. I'll be all
right. I think they've got to guarantee to him that the club are going to spend money this summer. I think they've got to. That's it.
That's the only way, isn't it? Yeah, the ambition. Sort of similar to, I think I said last podcast, about right, we're going to bring in a midfielder that complements you, and then was it if we don't get Europe, because you haven't got the Europe to sort of persuade it? Yeah, that's the only way. And then you'd have to say, if you are signing a new contract, here's a release clause for next season. Thank you very much for your patience.
I think even Bruno said it though, didn't he? Like, to keep your top players, you've got to sign top players as well.
Exactly.
And that's exactly the situation that we're in at the moment as a club. And we've seen a lot of news regarding finances and stuff like that things are getting loosened up. But then obviously I've seen the news about FFP. I don't know when the rules on that are changing, but this summer is going to be, well, I'm hoping it's going to be a big one for the club. Obviously, with everything being loosened up by the UEFA now. I'm hoping.
Yeah, we basically had a pass from UEFA to say we're all in the clear, so still got to be careful on spending. I know they've changed the FFP legislation to, I think you can only spend, is it 70% on
70%,
on transfers. Yeah. I'm not sure when that comes into play. It's usually, I don't think it's instantaneously, but we shall see. Wayne's asked, what are the chances of Traore coming back and signing a new deal in the summer with Barcelona, rumoured to be having no interest in paying the 30 million. Who'd have thought it, eh? Who would have thought it?
I don't think they'd give him a new deal for him just to go back out on loan, unless Barcelona had an obligation to buy that time. If it, and I think that's fair. I think that's Barcelona actually saying, look, we're being honest, we can't afford it now. We spoke to Adama, he'll sign a new deal for you, and that way you're definitely getting money for him, rather than them saying, look, Adama, don't sign a new deal there and just join us for free whenever. You know what I mean? So, I think we need some sort of commitment off them, basically.
But Vin, what do you reckon?
Can you imagine if they do another option next season and then his contract runs out, mate?
It's almost a bit like the Catrone thing, though, isn't it? Like, we all just expected him to go back to Fiorentina, and he ended up playing in the cup for us in the January.
But he's a saleable asset. Like, Catrone's, I reckon we might be worth more currently. Like, Traore is still a saleable asset. You're still probably going to get up to 20 million for him if you sell him in the summer.
Yeah.
So he's gone. You know what? He's gone for the right reason.
Catrone over 20 mil.
No, Traore.
Oh, sorry. I thought he said Catrone over 20 mil.
How much do you reckon Catrone goes for?
How long is it his deal? Less than 10. He's still probably got two or 3 years left on his deal. I reckon he's on a 5.
It'll be 3 seasons. He'll have been. Yeah, 3 seasons. He'll have been.
Patrick Catrone. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look. So his contract is up next summer. So he got a year left on his deal. I reckon 4 or 5 million.
Yeah, let's get max. That you got to say, and I know we're not that we're not that old, but this has got to be one of the worst pieces of transfer business the club has ever done.
£16 million, was it?
Mm-hmm.
£18 million, maybe.
What was it? 3 goals and 1 half decent chant for 16 million quid. There you go.
Pizza pasta merchant. The Adama thing, though, I don't blame him for wanting to go. Like, he's reportedly taken a pay cut to go there.
On the premise that they were going to sign him.
Yeah, and Wolves offered him, if you believe what Tim Spears says, they offered him the kitchen sink and he still just didn't want to sign. He didn't want to be there. So for him to be offered upwards of 80, 90 grand a week to then take a pay cut on, what is he on now? Probably 30, 35, because it was the first season in the Prem, wasn't it? For him to take a pay cut on that, then he's doing it for the right footballing reasons. But I almost feel like Adama's going to get his heart broken by his boyhood club here. It's not going to be very nice. So if you want to come and keep on my couch, Adama, you're more than welcome. On Twitter, before we go on to Instagram, question from Betmate, the fellas. What are your go-to McDonald's orders, Dave?
Well, you know what? I'll have a bit of anything at McDonald's, to be fair. I'm a big fan of a sweet chili wrap. Sweet chili
wrap. You're at Everton.
Yeah, at Everton. And that's probably like, if people go there, have a Big Mac or whatever. So I have that. If it's not going to be anything healthy, just grab a mayo chicken. I mean, anything heavy, it's just going to be a mayo chicken. Just say nothing's healthy.
Not going to get anything healthy,
yeah. So like a mayo chicken if you're just grabbing something quick. But to be fair, I'm pretty flexible at McDonald's. I'll have whatever's going.
Finn, I think you're a Mackey's man, aren't you? You do love a Mackey's.
I do, and I love that. Now I've got the app, and it's like every couple of days, it's like 20% off. I'm like, oh, go on then. I love a bargain, but if anything, they win because they get money that they weren't going to get off me. But I was a plain quarter pounder with cheese for like the first 18 years of my life, and then I learned to be adventurous. I still go back to that every so often. But chicken selects if there's no special on, but I always try to go for the special. So at the moment, the big Tasty's on, for example. But I like when they do like the Taste of America and all that. I like to. The
chocolate brownie McFlurry they used to do, or was it like Mississippi mud pie or something like that? They used to be
special.
Do you remember at McDonald's the deli sandwiches they used to do?
Nah,
this is going back.
Remember the McRib?
Yeah, they were bringing. I
was selling quarter pounder time at this time.
No, so the deli sandwiches. This I'm talking. Got to be close to 15 to 20 years ago. It was like you'd order it, and it was like grilled chicken on a big like sub kind of baguette. It was unbelievable, I can't believe they got rid of it. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up there.
So if you were to have a big tasty, would you ask for it plain?
That's the problem. It's like the special burger's always like, oh, with a special sauce this time. I'm like, yeah, without the sauce, please, boss man. It's
no wonder you're expecting box touches is so low.
Thingy,
I don't like mayo.
At my new house, you can get McDonald's on Uber Eats, so that's going to be dangerous.
I can't get it.
Because it's like it always comes cold. Like the chips, as soon as you take them out the fryer,
whenever we order, like whenever I'm at somebody's house, we order it. The order always comes wrong. Where they forget something, it's just a waste of time.
And when you go into a McDonald's now, like 80% of the orders are all like Uber Eats, aren't they? You can see those codes. Yeah.
They put the codes on them to collect. He's like, I thought it was the Wi-Fi password. Does that mean like
getting hacked?
Anonymous are in town. They're coming for you. Coming for your cheeseburgers. I think I'd go for if there's a special burger on, like Finn says, I'll go for that but with everything on it. If not, probably a Big Mac or a quarter pounder with cheese. Meal, and I might have a chicken mayo on the side with cheese. You got a chicken mayo with cheese. Superb.
Yeah. Or what's good? Well, if someone who doesn't like sauce, all the wraps are basically just the wraps with a different sauce on, like chicken selects with a different sauce. Just use the wrap of the day, which they make cheaper, and take the sauce off. It's the same thing but cheaper.
Oh, hacks!
Yeah, but the wrap with no sauce, surely.
Yeah, I'm a weirdo.
Surely what he's saying is you take the chicken off. That's what he's saying.
No, take the chicken off.
Say wrap of the day, no sauce.
Wrap of the day with no chicken. Just lettuce.
No, I thought you meant you unwrap it and just take the chicken out like you would for a chicken.
That's a good shout. Actually. Oh, would that be cheaper?
Mate, I'm changing the game. I'm here every week.
To play 16 chess. What drink would you have, Finn?
Fanta or I learned this the other day, by the way, and I'm stealing this, I think, from the Stephen Tries podcast. McDonald's, and I never noticed it, McDonald's have signed an agreement with Coca-Cola, and they're the only fast food restaurant that sell Coca-Cola. All the rest have to do Pepsi.
Oh, mate, I'm going to other places then. Happy days, up the Pepsi Max.
I know, yeah, I love a Pepsi Max. But yeah, and then I thought, oh, God, yeah, Burger King, KFC, it's all Pepsi. But I'd have a Diet Coke or most likely Fanta. But yeah, I didn't I never even thought about it. But yeah, McDonald's have an agreement. There you go, everyone.
This is honestly like the most you've been engaged all podcast. Dave, what drink? You like a Pepsi, don't you? You normally go for a Coke, wouldn't you?
Yeah. If I'm really gasping, I'll have a cold full-fat Coke. But I don't dislike a milkshake. Banana, vanilla, yeah.
That banana flavour, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know why banana flavour is like not flavour like banana?
Why?
You know, you have like banana sweets, not banana medication. It was actually like a banana that's they stopped producing years ago, but they've still got the same flavour.
People are listening to this podcast and learning a hell of a lot of stuff. You know,
they really are. I'd have to go for a Coke Zero purely because if I have a drink that's got sugar in it, I get a come down. Like, sorry, like, honestly, I get like sugar.
No, you just don't want to pay the extra 20p type.
I'm falling out, bro.
I'm joking.
No. What is it? No. So talking to me about being tight, but then you got bloody Finn who's taking select down and trying to take it.
No, take the lettuce home for my sandwich the next day.
Yeah, I'll recycle that. Put his hands down. Moving on to Instagram before we eventually wrap up. A lot of questions about Neves and whether we're going to get Europe for the rest of the season, which I think we've covered. But what Billy Morgan has asked, with Neves out till May, what do you think our best formation is and with what personnel? Dave?
I think it's just got to be the 3-4-3. Got to be Matinho and Dendoncker in the middle, and then you know the rest of the formation really. But I think that middle two is pivotal. No, I don't dislike those two. I just think obviously we were a lot better with Neves. But yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens with Dendoncker this summer as well. I think, when we signed him, I was really excited. I thought, I know that you're going 3 or 4 years ago now, but I really thought he was going to kick on and be a really, really solid player. And he just hasn't had the game time, and he hasn't been good or consistent enough. But now he's got no excuse. He's going to have a good run of games, of 5 or 6 games in a central midfield role, which I don't think we would have seen him have. Maybe in a centre back role, in a central midfielder role for the run of 5 or 6 games. Off the top of my head, I can't remember that happening before.
Finn, best formation with the personnel we've got for the rest of the season. Bearing in mind, Jimenez will be back in 2 games.
Yeah. Recency bias says sort of the team that played against Leeds for that sort of, before the 10 men, obviously. It's interesting when Semedo's back, obviously he starts right wing back. Would you go Johnny over Aït-Nouri? Because I'd probably lean towards, I suppose with the 3-4-3, you've got attackers. You could maybe argue Johnny, who's a little bit more defensive, but yeah, I'd be. That's the only position where I'd be stuck.
It'd be great if we could play with like 4 wings.
Yeah,
like utilize the plethora of wingers and wing backs we've got, because I think we'd piss the league.
My feeling is with Aït-Nouri, and I don't know if it's just me that thinks this. I don't think Bruno Lage is 100% convinced by him.
I'm not either.
Because the way that Marcel comes in every now and then, and the comments that he gave about Giles as well. I don't know.
I think he's not fit either. Like he's blowing out his ring piece after 70 minutes.
And they said on that video where Cody and Neto did with Sky Sports, they said that it was Adama and Aït-Nouri that always turned up late for training and weren't putting it in as well. But he just seems half soaked. Half asleep, yeah. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. A couple more questions, lads, before we wrap up, because this has been quite a long podcast. Another lad on Instagram, xgrim17, apologies if I've not pronounced that right, but who do you think the most improved since last season, Finn?
Really
good question, actually.
A really good question. Probably Kilman's got to be up there for that, but obviously wasn't playing much. So with a starter, Matinho, his level, despite getting older, in the years now where it should dramatically start to come down, I think he's gone up, which is very impressive. Even if he stayed at the same level, that's impressive at that age. So between Kilman, Moutinho, and Semedo, probably. I think I agreed with what Bruno said a few weeks ago. Those first few months, it was a Semedo he didn't recognise, and then he got him to that Semedo that was flying at Benfica and then I moved to Barcelona. So probably those three for me between.
David?
I would probably echo all of those shouts and even maybe add Cody, because Cody was a scapegoat for a lot of games last season. And how often do we speak about him having a bad game now? Very, very rarely. I think he's really stepped up. I think going into the England squad and so on has probably helped him as a player, but just seems a lot better, a lot more solid this season as well.
3 games this season. Palace, he wasn't very good. Arsenal away, he wasn't very good. And West Ham away, he wasn't very good. Apart from that, I think he's been excellent in most games.
Exactly.
Another one here for you lads, Pedent.
Yeah.
Just added consistency in it. I think it's helped that he hasn't really had those injuries. Last year, you could never rely on him. He'd be injured every other game, wouldn't he?
So I was one of those who was like, just get rid of him, he's useless. Like, I don't know what he brings. And then absolutely revitalising the Bruno, proved once again that I know absolutely nothing about football. Ain't Nuri as well. Like,
yeah.
I think all of them have got a case to be the most improved. But if we're going to press you for one each, that lads, who's it going to be?
I'd say Kilman.
I'll go Semedo. You know, I really wasn't convinced, and then like a couple of months before the injury, I think he's been fantastic. So I'll go Semedo.
Love that. Right, chaps, that's it. That's the podcast. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening, all. It's been an absolute pleasure. We were back after the Villa game now. Probably got quite a while until the next game. It's next Saturday, I believe, the 2nd. So probably week commencing the 4th. We'll be back. Don't forget to get on that BetMate pot. It's free to enter using the code in the description and by clicking the link. Like I said, free to enter. Your chance to win a share of £100. And, of course, be gamble aware. Dave, Finn got the mention as the main man at the start.
Yeah.
So, Finn, where can people find you, mate, if they wish? Look at him, he's cleaning himself up. You got that Roy Hodgson gif, you know, he's like...
Well, yeah, and I won the quiz, so I'm keeping it for next week as well. I'm officially main man 2 weeks in a row. Finners, yeah, FINERRZ, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. If anyone could leave a positive comment on the Leeds video, that'd be nice, because I've got a lot of abuse for calling a manager Ted Lasso. So yeah, thank you.
what kind of abuse were you getting? Just like you being disrespectful?
And even like, sorry, this is going to be a long outro, but even them saying, how dare you say that with a man living in America next to you? I love Ted Lasso. It's a great program, but yeah, I don't know, strange one. They really get a nerve with that one, so I apologise.
I've not watched it.
Well, they were living in America. They're Mexican, but living in America. But he found it hilarious. But they were saying, "Oh, wasn't he offended?" I was like, "No."
He had a Mexico flag and a Ralph him in his shirt on that, and he got sent off. Good.
I bring him again.
Tricky. Long journey back on the coach.
We got the coach from America.
No, he didn't.
Dave, where can people find you? Should they wish?
Yeah, Dave has a party. DAVEAZZOPARDI. And to the Leeds fans for saying it wasn't a red card because it was a second yellow. Yeah, there you go. It wasn't either.
Done him.
Yeah. I also really annoyed when people say, why aren't VAR looking at it? And they can't. They literally can't.
You know what, as well, sorry, like Finn said, this is a really long outro. I felt like a fourth official I did on Friday, because when we made a fourth sub and then they made a concussion sub, everyone's looking around, like asking me for information. I was there like...
Hey, just check his ear.
Yeah.
He's got Lib at home on PremierLeague.com going through his rule book. Clause 17.4 states that...
And then the Villa game, it'll be, so if we finish 8th, Dave, and West Ham win the... Oh, God, I don't know.
And someone in the comments let us know what happens if one of the top 4 wins the FA Cup and West Ham win the Europa League, what that means for us using our passports anytime soon. I'm Matt Cooper, M Cooper Writes on Twitter, Matt Cooper Writes on YouTube, and of course, in true Talking Wolves historic YouTuber style, Dave will see out the show because he knows what buttons to smash and hit and like and follow and that.
Yeah, he does.
He loves to smash it.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. I know it was a little bit of a sad start, but I'm sure it improved towards the end. As always, if you're watching or listening on YouTube, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Apple Music, or whatever it's called nowadays, and Spotify, be sure to leave us a 5-star review. But until next time, we will see you all very, very soon.